Hi everybody, Dr. Josh Renkens here with Resilient Health and Performance in Brentwood, and tonight I wanted to give you some exercises and some tips to mobilize your thoracic spine. So for all of you out there that are experiencing some neck pain or perhaps shoulder pain problems or even low back pain, that thoracic spine can be huge. It can be the missing link for you to get back to doing the things that you want to do. So when it comes to the T-spine, what I'm talking about is you have T1, which is right around this protuberance here that most of us have right at the bottom of your neck. And then if you feel down for the lowermost ribs, if you go to the middle, that's basically about T12. So there's 12 thoracic vertebrae. So what we're concerned with is mobilizing this as much as we can. And we want to get extension and flexion, and then we want to incorporate some rotation too. So there's not going to be a ton of movement available because you've got the rib cage and everything, but most people are relatively immobile in this area, and as I said earlier, it causes a ton of different problems, from the neck to the shoulder to the low back and other things too. So for starters, I'm going to show you a couple things with the foam roller. So the first thing you can do, you can take a foam roller, sit on your bottom, and then you're going to start with the roller perpendicular to your spine, put it somewhere in the middle of your shoulder blades, and I'm going to bring my hands, forearms, and elbows together, approximate them so I can spread out my shoulder blades, exposing more of that tissue and musculature around my spine. And then I'm going to take my fingertips and just go over my head, just enough so I have some support back here so that I'm not overutilizing or straining these muscles to hold my neck and head up. So let your head go back. As you let your head go back, your thoracic spine is going to follow. I'm going to lift my hips, and then I'm just going to gently and slowly roll up and down that thoracic spine. So if you're not extremely tall, you can probably cover all that real estate there in one swoop. If you're a little bit taller, what you can do is you can do the top half, so I can go from the bottom of my neck about halfway down my shoulder blades, and I can do that for about a minute, and then I can cover from the bottom part of my shoulder blades down near the bottom of my rib cage, and just warming up that tissue. So the second one, similar setup. The only difference is I'm going to keep my hips, my butt on the ground. So I'm going to take a big breath into my belly, and then as I exhale, I'm going to extend over the roller, and then I can take another breath, and then exhale again, and try to get a little bit more movement, and then I can come back up on an inhale. So big mistake here when people do it is they'll overextend at this lumbar area. So what you can do to combat that is you can brace and sort of approximate the bottom part of your rib cage to your pelvis, so that when I extend, I'm locking that in, and I'm just getting thoracic spine extension only. Difficult to do, and like I said, there's not going to be a ton of movement. If you feel like you're getting excessive movement, you're probably getting, some cheating movement from that L spine. So try to avoid that. After you've done that, a lot of people have heard of cat-camel. I'm going to show you a little bit of modified version of cat-camel. So again, this one is emphasizing the flexion and extension component of that T-spine. So instead of being on all fours, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of rock back, butt to heels, and I'm going to put my forearms on the floor, and then I'm going to flex. So I'm going to expand that rib cage, try to add some flexion, and then I'm going to drop and try to get some extension through there. And then I'll flex, and then extend, and just trying to get some movement. And you can see I'm adding a little bit of neck and head flexion and extension. I'm trying to get some movement through the upper part of that T-spine. So those are 3 quick and easy ones for flexion extension. Now for rotation, what I can do is I can lie, pick a side. You'll do both right and left sides. I've got my foam roller, so I can bring my hip to about 90 degrees, which is going to help lock in my lumbar spine. I'm going to use the foam roller as a prop here, and what that does is it stacks my hips one on top of the other. If I lose the foam roller and my knee drops to the ground, now you can see my pelvis is rotated to the left, and then when I do an exercise to rotate right, I'm sort of wringing out that lumbar spine, and I think that's kind of a no-no, and plus, remember our emphasis here is to get that T-spine area. So use the foam roller, and all you're going to do here is you're going to grab some of that rib cage on the opposites, on the down side. I'm going to take a big breath in, and then when I exhale, I'm just going to pull and try to rotate to my right. Inhale, return to the front, and then exhale, pull and rotate to the right. And I'm making sure I keep that knee down on that roller. After you've done 8 to 10 breaths, 8 to 10 rotations, you can do another one commonly known as open book. So same thing, only I'm going to add a little bit more rotation. So I'm going to get some shoulder movement, some arm movement. I'm going to take a big breath in, and then I'm going to open up, rotate to my right, follow my hand with my head and eyes. I can stay out there for another breath. And then as I inhale, I can return to the starting position. Exhale, open up again. Take another big breath. And then inhale, come back to the starting position. So again, you want to do both left and right side. 8 to 10 repetitions is a good place to start. And then lastly, I'll show you one where you're just going to come up onto your feet, and what you'll do is you'll go into a squat position, and you're going to push your hips back in an effort to kind of lock in that lumbar spine. And then I'm going to take a breath in, and then as I exhale, open up, and then inhale back down. And you can see what I'm doing here is I'm going to pin the back of my elbow, my upper arm here, against the inside of my knee. And then I'm going to rotate and then come back down. So I'm really emphasizing that thoracic motion while I keep my lower back out of the picture. So I hope you find these useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know, and look forward to talking to you guys next time.